Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, a lot of you have been asking, well, you're talking about some modern homes, homes of tomorrow. What are those about? Well, the homes of tomorrow, I used to be calling them tiny homes because they fit a different niche at the time. But now, uh, what has happened to the tiny homes is it's made it very difficult, if not impossible, to create community using tiny home models. And so, what we're going to be doing is a modified version and a more permanent version. And these are micro homes. And the difference between a micro home and a standard home is 200 square feet in size. Uh, the typical standard starter home is 800 square feet. That was the original uh, footprint of the homes being built in the 50s as starter homes, 800 square feet. So that was the minimum, and that would fit a family of four, uh, and that would be a three-bedroom home. Uh, Granted, the rooms are very small, but everything was very useful and very efficient. But we're talking about things, a lot of things have changed. Uh, the materials to build homes, the amount of wood that's needed, it is depleting our forests, and it takes decades to grow that resource back. And so we need to be using resources that are renewable very quickly. Also, we have issues with fire and vandalism, and here in Oakland, security, and so there's a lot of different things. And so I'm going to talk about the the micro homes of tomorrow that I'm designing, that I have laid out, and that's what I have brought to, or I'm bringing to Oakland for because these are the kind of homes that are needed. They're lower in costs. The building costs are is substantially lower because it takes less labor, much less labor. And in fact, many of the models that of the micro homes can be built by the family and the owner of the home, and you can literally be debt free of home payments if you lay this out correctly and build it correctly. But the best thing is that, number one, hempcrete is the material that I'm talking about. Hempcrete is made from the hemp material, which is in the cannabis family, but it grows at an extremely high rate. In fact, typically the hemp fibers can be grown to full market value in 90 to 100 days. And so you're talking about growing crops and crops, plenty of hemp uh, in small amounts of time, very short amount of time, and then be able to use that. And why we want to use hemp, there's a few reasons, and it's not for what you think. Hemp does not contain THC, which is um, the psychotropic active ingredient in marijuana, and that's not present in hemp. Hemp is commonly used for rope. It's used for some clothing, for shoes. So hemp has a lot of use, and it's been around for centuries and millennias, and so uh, it's proven its value, and it's renewable, it's strong, and the other thing is it's highly fire resistant. And so today we're seeing a lot of homes having fire issues, whether it be inside or outside, and then the place is completely destroyed. Imagine having your home, your exterior, all your main exterior walls and your roof completely fireproof. so that even if you had a fire inside your home, it would be pretty much contained. And that's what the beauty of the new modern home is. Uh, the exterior, uh, you can put heat, a fire flame, directly to the surface for up to 1 hour, and it will do nothing more than smolder, period. That's hempcrete. And if we put the steel siding on there, you make it a that makes the home a 100-year designed home. And so it's fireproof. And then with the great thing with hempcrete, it resolves a number of issues. The insulation value of hempcrete is incredible because the walls are very thick. Uh, the It's fireproof. And so imagine this, being living in Oakland and having a bulletproof home. Yeah, you can have a bulletproof home because the hempcrete uh, is 10 inches thick, has insulation value of R60. I mean, we're talking about insulation value for the Midwest, and that's just the typical building material, and using a 10-inch width. And why do we use a 10-inch width? Is because we're also molding in a casement for the window in the event that the area is on fire, or when you leave. This is a security measure for the home. You can actually slide the panels of fireproof and vandal proof uh, protection over your windows, and it's bolted from the inside. It's locked from the inside. Not only can thieves not see in there, they can't get in there. They can't break in there. And if a fire breaks out, those are your fire resistant barriers to protect your window, and you can actually survive a major fire inside these homes. Because if you have oxygen tanks inside there, kind of like diving tanks, you can keep enough oxygen in there to keep yourself alive till help arrives, because your exterior surfaces will repel all the fire. And so the most important thing about surviving that fire would be just having enough oxygen, because what's going to end up happening, the fire on the outside is going to work at vacuuming all of that oxygen out of your home and then try to set the fire home. But since the home is made of hempcrete and possibly steel, it can't burn. There's nothing to burn, literally. And then uh, if you don't use the hempcrete, the new modern steel framing of homes, no burnable materials, completely renewable steel, metal, and then the insulation in the walls. It still has an incredible R value, and we're using uh, a mineral based insulation called rock wool, and it's a lot denser, has very high R value depending on the thickness of the wall, and it's also non-flammable, meaning that you can have an incredible amount of heat against coming from the outside, coming inside. If you have a steel wall outside, it can get just as hot. So even up to 2,000 degrees, that rock wool will not burn. It'll melt, but it won't burn. It won't catch on fire like fiberglass does. And the current insulating materials that are used, which is the cellulose, and that's highly flammable. And so this addresses a lot of issues. And if you live in a very dangerous city, gives you a high level of security, because the rock wool also will stop bullets. But you're going to need some thickness. You can't use a standard 4 inch. You're going to need a little more than that with the wool rock or the rock wool, and then also the steel siding. And that's what I have on my building right now. I have a steel siding. We have nearly 12 inches of insulation between the steel and the actual interior of the building. So that makes us very bulletproof. So even if a rifle round went through the exterior steel siding, it's going to be stopped by the insulation and the framing that we have inside. And that's the type of modeling and technologies that we're applying to the new homes of tomorrow. And that's why I say I moved the Oakland into the future. I'm moving Oakland into the future of real construction, dropping the labor cost, because a home like this, rather than having 35 crew members assembling that home in the typical stick fashion, you can have as little as 5 people build that home in the same amount of time. In fact, less amount of time. 1/3 less the cost just in the materials. And then, since you're only using 5 people and not 30 to 35 people, you're saving a tremendous amount of money. So that's where all the new features are. These are the homes of tomorrow. They're very efficient. They serve a lot of purposes. They're engineered and designed for 100 years of life cycle. And they're good for the environment because the hemp absorbs CO2 and holds CO2. And then for more strength, we can even add in sugar cane, the fibers, after sugar cane is processed, the very strong fibers from the cane itself can also add additional strength to the hempcrete. Only downside of hempcrete is that it does have a compaction limit, and so very few of your buildings are going to exceed 3, maybe 4 stories without special reinforcing and special framing. But those are going to be the rarity. And then all of these homes are self-sufficient in the fact that they're 100% electrical, operate on 100% electricity. And that 100% electricity you are creating on your own property with vertical solar panels, bifacial solar panels. And we're setting up in the most efficient and robust system that is possible. And so you won't even have an electric bill. Yeah, imagine having a home that costs you half the cost of current uh, costs of a home construction today. It's typical here in the Bay Area. We're looking at 800 or at least 600,000 to $1 million. That's what contractors tell you. And in the 600 square foot footprint of the micro home is only 200 square feet less than the typical starter home of the 50s, but yet still has about the price range of those starter homes of the 50s rather than the $1 million construction costs of today, because there's so much labor and the cost of materials is so great. And so these homes are very efficient. Uh, like I said, you have uh, pocket window panels where steel panels just close and you can lock them from the inside. So protects you from fire, from thievery, and vandalism. Serves a lot of purpose. These are the modern homes of the future. They're very efficient. Your HVAC is very minimal because the home if you have hempcrete and the small size, your heating operating costs, we're talking not much more than an apartment building from the 2000s. And I remember my condo, 900 square feet condo, my electric bill typically was about $100 a month. Imagine having no electric bill, but yet have all those conveniences, plus heating and cooling because of the HVAC system, the modern and efficient heat exchangers. And so these are the homes of tomorrow that I'm talking about that I plan on bringing to City of Oakland if you put me in the mayor's office. This is just one of the many projects and one of the biggest changes that's going to draw national and worldwide attention because of these homes. Thanks for joining me today. Elect me your next mayor.